You know, cash is really.
One. I will have my great. I like new stuff. Seven goals are out there.
It's an hour-long drive, and I'm not gonna be playing in my car, so like, what's the point? Yeah, it's. You know, so
Okay, guys, page 14. We're gonna do a full review today. And then Monday, have a bit of an activity, but then we'll also continue reviewing quizzes on Tuesday. Again, if you want to grab a scratch sheet, you're more than welcome to. But we're just going to be working through pages 14 and 15. Okay. So number one, it says state the number of possible triangles that can be formed using the given measurements. So I like to start off creating the triangle and just deciding which category am I dealing with. Am I dealing with angle, side, angle, 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 side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, or side? Okay, so angle R is 61. I like to always put my angle in the same location here. You don't have to, but just I just want to make everything as familiar and similar as possible. But that's just me. Okay, so R is 61. T is 35, so I'm always going to put that here. Now it could go here as well, but I'm always just going to put in the same location every time. Now, side R is 31, so that's over here. Okay, so which category am I dealing with here? Which of these triangles am I dealing with? Side angle, right? So because I have side, side angle. I know this is not side angle side because if it were, then I should have an angle sitting between the two sides, and I don't have that. Yes. No, you don't. But I made the summary sheet for you so that you can begin to understand the. You guys get that? Can I get a summary sheet? Yeah. Does anyone not have the summary sheet yet today? Very good. Okay, so we understand the side angle, which means we got to do some work, right? Because we don't know what's happening with that 31. Is that 31 going to be too long? Is it too short? Is it just right? So we have to spend the time to find that altitude. Now, this altitude may not be part of the triangle, but it will give us something to compare it with, right? So that we know how to think about that 31. Right. So let's use sine and figure out what that altitude is. So sine of the angle equals opposite over hypotenuse. Cross multiply. Use your calculator, 35 sine 61. So the height is 30.611. Where can this 31 go? It can either go out here, or it could go where? It could hide here as a obtuse triangle, right? Because that 31 is greater than the height, so it's definitely going to form a triangle, but it's not going to quite be a right triangle. But it's also short enough where it's going to be short in the hypotenuse, so it's going to be able to sneak in here as well. So it's going to form two triangles. So it forms two triangles if your opposite side is between the altitude and the hypotenuse. So we have two possible triangles. This problem is not asking for you to find the two possible triangles. You're just naming that possibility. Okay. Does everybody see how that altitude is important and why we need to find that to help us make our decision? Let me just go through a couple of scenarios here. What if this height was then what conclusion can we make? No triangle, right? This 31 is too short. It can't even reach this side. There's no chance that it can reach either here or here, right? So this would be no problem. What if the height was 31? One triangle, right? That means that the hanging side is going to land exactly here where the altitude is. What if height was 30.61, hypotenuse was 35, but R was 40? Only one triangle. That 40 means that it can't hide over here because it's going to be shorter. It's going to be longer than 35, so it can't be over here. It's only going to be over here. Only one triangle. So I'm just listing out all the possibilities so that you know how to move forward with. So I don't want you to memorize anything. I just want you to be able to look at those side lengths and just imagine where it could go. Okay with that? Okay, good. So let's look at number 2. Triangle CAB, angle A, side C, and side A. So angle A is 95. I'll make that slightly obtuse. B is 9. And A is 19. So that 19 is just going to be over here. Now, if you're dealing with an obtuse triangle, you're never going to worry about, even though this is side-side angle, unless it's an acute triangle, you never have to worry about dealing with ambiguous case, because that 95, as long as this 19 is more than 9, we're safe. We can create one triangle and that's it. So you only have to worry about dealing with this ambiguous case if you're dealing with side-side angle and then your angle is less than 90. If it's greater than 90, as long as that 19 is more than 9, you know you're safe. You can just create one triangle. Okay. Go with 1 and 2. We're just categorizing what the possibilities are. Okay, let's go to number 3. Okay, triangle. Now here, it draws out the possibility of 2 triangles. So if you know that it's only going to give you one triangle, you can just cross one of these out, right? It's we only have that there if it ends up being an ambiguous case and it ends up being 2 triangles. then we'll fill out that second column. If not, then we only allow these, we'll only use the first column. Okay, so I'm always gonna start with the angle. Sorry, I should put here. 14. T is 18. So it doesn't matter which one I choose. I'll choose T being here. And R is 28. Okay, what type of triangle are we dealing with? Say it again. Side angle side. So if you see side angle side, how do we approach this problem? We use what? Law of cosines. Yeah, law of cosines will help you begin the process. It'll find the one missing piece that you need, and then the rest of the problem will be law of sines. So we only have one angle here, so we're going to have to rely on the formula that has angle S. Now, the formula doesn't have angle S in it, so you're just going to have to kind of create one off of here. So if I want angle S, let's say this is angle S here, then I can say S squared equals R squared plus T squared minus 2RT cosine of S. So whatever variable you're dealing with, they will show up at the beginning and the end, and then all the middle ones will be the other variables. And I like to put parentheses in the calculator around the two, before the 2 and after the S. And that's just to ensure that the negative doesn't mess up with your order of operations. Make sure you're in degree mode. Practice entering into the calculator. Hit the square roots. Oh, and by the way, it's side angle side, right? So we know it's not going to be two triangles. The only time you're going to get two triangles is if it's side angle and you realize that the hanging side is shorter than the hypotenuse but longer than the altitude, right? So we already know that, we're only dealing with a second triangle if it's side angle and very specific conditions pass. Okay, so now that we've done law of cosines to help find the one missing side that we need, now we can transfer over to what? Law of sines. Either solve for R or T. As soon as you solve for either R or T using law of sines, then you can subtract the from 180 to find that last missing angle. Okay. So that's negative 4. Got the 8 squared plus minus. This is negative. Minus 7.
Yeah.
So I like to enter everything.
Yes, sorry. That makes sense.
Yeah, but I like to enter it all under one statement. That way it just, that way, I mean, you can do it separately, but I mean, the calculator can handle all this in one go. That's what I would do. Okay, so, let me show my work here. I solved for, angle R. And then I found T at the end, but you could solve for T at the beginning and then get R later. Okay, I'll leave this up here for another minute, but go ahead and try number 4. Once I found angle R, which is 41.036, I just subtracted from 180 to get that last missing angle. Yeah, I did 180 minus 41.036 minus 114, and that gave me an angle. Because I knew that all 3 angles of a triangle has to be 180. So if I have 2 angles known for a triangle, I can find that last angle if I subtract from 1. Yeah. Oh, you did? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Let me double check my work. Sorry, you're right. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, guys, I copied. You're right. Is it, you guys get 24.964?
Yes.
Sorry, thank you. Okay, 24.964.
Oh, wow.
Why don't we have to solve for or this is just no?
It's just the possibility of second triangle, but if they're here, it's side angle side. So all the problems has the possibility of triangles, and then you just have to decide whether it's part of it or not. How do we know? The only way that we are gonna have that second triangle if it's side angle, and there's that ambiguous case going on.
Okay.
That's the only time. Any other time, you should just be dealing with just one triangle. Side angle, yeah. Okay, everybody good with 3? Does everybody still need to look at 3? Okay, we good? All right, let's look at number 4. Angle P, side H, and side P. Got that hanging side here. Okay, what type of triangle is this? Which means we got to find that altitude so that we can make a decision as to what's happening. What to do with that 26? Because right now we don't know. We don't have anything to compare it with. Oh, sorry about that. My bad. I had it still on freeze. Okay, so again, angle P, side H 34, and then the hanging side, side P. We don't know what's happening with that 26, so I'm gonna find that altitude first. Okay, 11.069. What does that tell me now? That 26 can either be out here, but it could also be where? Here, right? Because 26 is longer than 11, so it's can slide over here. But it's less than 34, so it can hide here and create an obtuse triangle. Two triangles. I'll put this on a separate sheet just so I can have enough room. Okay, I'm gonna do this triangle first because if we can do all the work for this triangle, the second triangle will be easier. Because that H is gonna be easy for us to find once we can find this H. Okay, so we're gonna rely on law of sines to help us solve this triangle. I will I will solve for K. Yeah, I'll solve for K first. I'm sorry, I got to do H first. My bad. I got to do H first because I have information about H. I have nothing about involving K, so. subtract from 180 to get angle K. Once I find angle K, I can use law of sines again to find side K. So that's triangle 1. Now we got to create triangle 2. I cross multiply and then I solve and then I just solve it. So let me show that step here. So K sine 19 equals 6. Okay, are we good with triangle 1? Okay, triangle 2, it'll look similar to this, except that H is going to be an obtuse triangle, obtuse angle. So here's P. So you have angle P, angle K, and angle H. Angle P is still 19. 34 is still there. 26 is still there. Now, H is different, right? But there's a nice clean relationship here. If this is 25.197 here, how can I find this angle H? Subtract from 180. Yeah, okay, so these will always be supplementary. So it's nice to have this first triangle because you just a lot of it, you can kind of use this to help you figure out a lot of this. So we do 180 minus 25.197 and how do you do that? The reason why is because this angle here is always going to be yeah, so it's going to be this here. So this is 25.197, right? Now, if I had another, imagine another side here, that was the same as this one. This would also be 25.197 because these are isosceles triangle. And this is isosceles triangle. We know that the remaining part must be supplementary. So that will be 180 minus 25.1. Okay. It's just going to be that nice relationship there. So we know that this 26 is technically here as well. And we know that the base angles are the same. These base angles are the same, then that obtuse angle must be supplementary to that 25.
So like for triangles like these, do we always have to do like the left one first?
Yeah, I would do this one first. It makes this a lot easier to do. So I always do the acute triangle first, and then this information I can just carry over. And it's always going to be that relationship. Your ambiguous case, the angle H will always be supplementary. So we do 180 minus 154.803. And now it gets easier because you can find that third missing angle by subtracting from 180. And then all you need is to solve for side k using law of sines. So this is the hardest problem because basically it's two problems in one. And you have to gather that information about the second triangle from the first triangle.
Why did you subtract 19?
Say again?
Why didn't you subtract the P, angle P? How you get a 6.1?
Oh, so I have 19 and I have that 154.803. So if I take these two angles, subtract from 180, I get the last missing angle, which is 6.1. This angle P is set in stone, right? That's given to us, so we can't change that. It's the angle H that's going to change, but once we find angle H, because we know that it's going to be supplementary. Once you have two angles of a triangle, you can subtract 180 to find that last missing. And the last missing piece for K, you can use law of sine to find that last missing sine. Okay, move. How off were you?
Mine was 9.5. Like my, the angle of my K, I put 6.8 minus. 6.1.
You get 154.803.
I got 154.
You get 25.197.
198.
That should be close. If you subtract that from 180, you should get 154. Try that again.
No, I did. I got like 25.198 as a travel distance.
Okay, then what did you get for
That's
this angle? 180 minus 25.198 give you 150.
Even, or sorry.
Okay, let's try that. I got 154.802.
No, I just put it in wrong.
So yeah, if you're off by a little bit, that's okay, but if you're off by, if that decimal, that first decimal is completely off, then yeah, something is not quite there yet, yeah. Okay, any other questions with number 4? So number 4 does require you to fill out both columns. Okay with the values here from both columns. All right, look at number 5 here. We can instantly tell what type of triangle is this. side, 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 which means you're going to use law of what? Cosine. And you're going to start with which angle? Biggest. What's the biggest angle? Angle B, yep. So find the formula for angle B, and then from there, everything should follow very predictable manner. Okay, so try number 5. I'll follow up with the steps. Okay, does anybody still need to look at number 4? Everybody good? Go ahead. Okay, I'm going to combine all those numbers together first, move them over to the left side. Because I'm trying to eventually get that cosine B by itself. Not ready for C yet. Okay, so now I can transition over to law of sines to help you find either angle A or angle C. Question.
Situation.
That's fine. That's close enough, bring around the 50.
Oh.
That's fine. Questions? We've seen all the scenarios that you're gonna see on the quiz. Law of cosines with side, 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 law of cosines with side, angle, side, the ambiguous case with side, side, angle. And then if it's a angle, angle, side or angle, side, angle, those are easy. Those are law of sines. You guys did that on your, on the check-in quiz, but we can practice that more on Monday. But this is basically, what we need to be able to do on the quiz for Tuesday. Questions? Okay, so we'll continue reviewing on Monday. Quiz is Tuesday. All right, don't forget your phones.